Hello everyone, Kevin Fay here, Adult Services Librarian with the Casa Grande Public Library, giving you another iPhone tip of the week. And this week is the second part of the settings, and I'm going to concentrate on the Apple ID, the iCloud, and the App Store settings. They're all kind of interwoven with each other and a little complex, so I'm going to try my best to explain it and what you can do to access them and such. So, without further ado, let's get into the settings. The Apple ID settings and the iCloud settings and iTunes settings is at the very top of your settings app. It's right there. Your name will be there, and you just tap on it, and it will go into your Apple ID settings. Now you can see what your Apple ID is. It has your name, but more importantly, oftentimes people use their email as their Apple ID, and you can see my email there. That's what my Apple ID is, and so any of these other things are associated with it. If I wanted to go in and change the name and phone numbers associated with my Apple ID, I could do that. I can also go into password and security and change the password for my Apple ID and then increase or decrease the security setting for that. So those are things you can do in the Apple ID settings. Now you might be like, I still don't know what an Apple ID is. And there's a password associated with it. Isn't that just the same thing that I use to open up my phone? And no, the password for your Apple ID is very different from your passcode, which is the passcode is what you use to open up the phone and helps you to secure your device to make sure nobody else can use it. But the Apple ID password is associated with that Apple ID, and it's used to allow you to get content such as other apps, music, and movies. It also acts as a backup for the information that's on your device and to have an extra place to store your information that you have onto your device. So those are all interwoven with your Apple ID. Now, the payment and shipping, so if you wanted to pay for something, like you wanted to pay for an app, that's the payment that you have set up there under the payment and shipping setting. That's what it would use to pay for something. So when there's an app that you want to purchase, a game that you want to purchase, it's taking it from that setting, the payment. Subscriptions, that subscriptions part of the setting shows you what apps or books or magazines that you may be subscribing to, and if it requires a subscription through the App Store, then it would show up there as well. Now, the next setting, the iCloud setting, this causes sometimes a bit of confusion. The iCloud basically acts as a backup to your phone. So a lot of the information on your phone is pretty essential. And if something were to happen to your phone, such that it gets destroyed by, say, your garbage disposal, or your dog eats the phone, or maybe you drop it in your pool, how would you get that information back? Well, your device is actually communicating pretty often with the iCloud, which is set up through your Apple ID. It acts as a backup, and you have a certain amount of storage in your iCloud. So let's go into the iCloud settings. Now, the basic amount of storage in your iCloud is at the very top there. It says that I have 5 gigabytes, and I've used up almost 2.9 gigabytes of my 5 gigabytes. So that's how much storage I have as a backup. And as I scroll down the screen, you can see what kind of things I'm backing up into my iCloud. And these are all pretty essential kind of things. I don't want them, if my phone was to get destroyed in some way, I still want this information to be lost. So that's what the iCloud does. Now, you can also get iCloud Drive, which gives you more storage. for like an extra $1 or $5 a month, you'd get maybe 20 gigabytes of storage, and that would allow you more backup for your photos and your videos. So that's the iCloud. And often people that if you take a lot of photos and you take a lot of videos, then I would recommend looking into purchasing the iCloud Drive so that you have a backup. And it also acts as additional storage. If you don't have any storage on your enough storage on your device, you can back it up into your iCloud Drive, and it would be there instead of just on your device taking up room. So that's a little bit about the iCloud. The other setting that's good to know about here is the iTunes and App Store setting. Now, you automatic downloads. I'm currently signed on with my Apple ID there at the top on this particular device, but it's possible to sign on to 5 other Apple devices using my Apple ID. Whether it's a laptop or maybe a tablet, I can use my Apple ID to sign on to those. And then if I was to purchase music or apps on one device, if those settings were on, it would automatically download that new app or the new music or book automatically onto the other device. Now, the one setting that I would highly recommend that you leave on is the app updates. Always leave that on. And then there's some other stuff here about cellular data for the App Store. I would kind of leave those things alone. And then you might want to, if you download a lot of apps and there's times where you don't use an app or something, you might want to have the offload unused apps on. That does it for this tip of the week. This little part, it's a lot to kind of take in. But just realize that the Apple ID allows you to have an account where your information on your device and the apps that you get and the music you get is all stored somewhere. It's a little bit like if you're familiar with like Amazon and how they use kind of a cloud type of deal with your books and such. It's a little bit like that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's tip of the week, and I might be taking a bit of a break for this week and next week for the tip of the week, but I'm thinking I'm going to start doing some iPhone photo tips of the week. So take a look for those. Thank you.